Hi, Joanna. For an R project, which tools do you use for collaboration?
GNOME ROS has a guide about tools for collaboration with R. Ask questions on Stack Overflow, Twitter, or our mailing list. Sharing R scripts with GitHub Gist. Sharing reports of code and results with R Markdown. Collaborating in version control using GitHub or Dropbox. Create R package and share your R code. And enjoying the R communities online.
Cool. Our help list and CRAN are 20 years old now. Where were you 20 years ago?
Maybe kindergarten. The first post from our help mailing list was written by Ross Ayaka on 1997 April Fool's Day. This is such a great project. Thank you to all of the CRAN maintainers and R packages maintainers. In the latest not-so-standard deviations, Hillary and Roger talk with Sean Taylor from Facebook about his new time series forecasting R package profit. They also talk about how to make tools usable and reusable, and when to open source an internal project.
UK government uses R to modernize reporting of official statistics.
In the blog post, Matt Upson from Government Digital Service talks about how they use version control for this project, quality assurance and code review with pull requests, packaging code as R packages, test-driven development, automated testing, code coverage report, dependency management, and producing the publication with R Markdown and related tools.
Curtis Miller wrote an introduction to stock market data analysis with R. A new package, Shiny JQUI, introduces jQuery UI interactions, effects, and mini animations to Shiny. In this week's R project updates,
Factor function now uses order function to sort its levels. This makes factor function support custom vector-like objects, if methods for the appropriate generics are defined. This change has the side effect of making factor function succeed, where it failed before. For example, on empty or length 1 non-atomic vector-like types, like list type.
Terms.formula function ignored argument names when determining whether two terms were identical.
The deprecated support for PCRE versions older than 8.20 will be removed in R3.4.1.
Fix bug, LaTeX to UTF-8 function went into an infinite loop when given certain inputs.
Formatting and printing of bibliography entries now by default shows the bibtex code also when there is more than one entry. This also affects citation function. Users can use options function to revert to previous behavior.
It seems that this episode is a bit short.
Yeah. I hope we cover all of most of interesting things from last week.
If me and Joanna miss something, you can always use our weekly submit page to submit audio files or post URL.
There are more interesting content in our R Weekly website. R Weekly is on Twitter, Facebook and Patreon. Subscribe to our weekly podcast with your podcast app. Follow us on YouTube to get the latest podcast updates. You can send us feedback on About Page. Submit podcast segment with Submit page. That is all of this week's podcast. See you next week.
See you next week.